What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and here I am only, about a month after the, I'm sorry, a couple months, 2 months after the Dark Knight Rises. And, I already expressed to you how disappointed I was in that movie. So now here it is. The summer had Dark Knight Rises, and now it's fall. It's that time right before Halloween, and Warner Brothers or DC Warner Brothers DC Animation releases The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. Now, I haven't finished watching it, but I had to stop for a second and just express something to you guys. So, all you fans out there, quote unquote fans out there, who say that Nolan's version is the definitive version and that it's so awesome and it's so great, his watered down, quote unquote, forced realistic Batman, who quits after, a girl, one of his relationships is lost. He didn't quit when, other things happened that were worse, but he quit when Rachel, whatever. He quit. The Bruce Wayne that does not have a split personality, the Bruce Wayne who is the real character, not Batman. For all you who think that that's Batman, you don't know shit. For all you fans of Batman, and the DC Universe in general, who understand what Batman truly is, which includes the team who made The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 based on Frank Miller's actual work, not loosely based, but completely based, you guys are going to nut in your pants. That's the best way I can put it. This movie, and note, I'm only about 20 minutes into the movie, or maybe almost a half hour. This movie takes everything that you love about Batman, and it shows you why he is who he is and why you love this character in the first place. From the way that he's handling all these thugs when he makes his comeback. Actually, we could even go further back. The way that Bruce Wayne is reacting to all of the information, all of the news about, all the deaths and the murders and all the craziness, after his retirement, 10 years of retirement. He's seeing on the news that crime is at a ridiculous high. And I'm only prefacing this for those of you, the few of you who have no idea what this movie is about. Nolan said he gained inspiration from the graphic novel version of this, or the comic version of this, which was done by Frank Miller. It was done back in the 80s, and it was the version of Batman that made everyone else say he has to be darker, because this version of Batman was maiming people. This version of Batman shot folks. This version of Batman was not afraid to kill to make sure that he got his point across. Anyway, Bruce Wayne, who's enjoying his retirement to some degree, has repressed the other side of his personality, which is Batman, which is his real self, his true self. He's repressed it. And he drinks, and I guess drinking helps keep Batman, at bay. It gets to a point where all these crimes are being committed, and the old, criminals Batman used to deal with, they're all gone. Most of them are either reformed or they just fell off. Joker is like catatonic because, if Batman's not around for him to fuck with, who's he gonna screw with? No one. He doesn't really care about anyone else. So finally, crime gets to a point where kids are being murdered and, criminals are just senselessly doing things. I mean, they always have, but it's getting to a point where it's at such a volume that even Bruce is just like, what the fuck? And the Gotham Police Department, they're slacking. Just nothing can be done. It's almost like Detroit in RoboCop. And funny enough, RoboCop, Peter Weller, the original RoboCop, is the voice of Batman in this, and he is perfect. Two people who I never thought that I would like more than Kevin Conroy, or as much as Kevin Conroy, were Bruce Greenwood, who was Batman's voice in the Under the Red Hood, phenomenal, and like a gruff older Batman, and when I say older, I only mean a little bit older than Kevin Conroy's, like maybe right after Justice League Unlimited, when Batman's in his, I don't know, realistically he would have probably been in his 50s, you know. And then here's Peter Weller, who would be Batman in his 60s. And you know Batman is younger than Jim Gordon, because Jim Gordon in the Dark Knight Returns is 70. So 60-year-old Batman, you got Peter Weller as the voice, and he is dark and grim, and there's so much bass in his voice, and he's so casual about saying having these ridiculous one-liners. They're not even ridiculous anymore, because I hate when people say that. They would be ridiculous if us common people said it, but if Batman or, you know, these old school heroes like in the Expendables and shit, when they say it, it fits because they're doing the shit that goes with it, you know? But anyway, he can't take it anymore. And the Batman persona fights and finally is like, dude, you're weak, I'm taking over. And the shit hits the fucking fan. You will be so happy that this got made, because after seeing The Dark Knight Rises, I was like, where is Batman? Where is the Batman that I've been wishing and wanting to see on screen? Where is he? Why is it that the only place I can find this is in comics or animation? They're the only ones with the balls to actually make the character the character. They're the only ones that are paying attention to the roots of the character and finding ways to translate that into the into film. And you know, there are aspects of certain genres of film that you have to take it all the way or you shouldn't fucking bother. And taking some superheroes and trying to make them quote unquote realistic, where you take all the imagination out and it's just a random guy in a suit, it's not enough. But when you see this, you will see what I'm talking about. Batman is brutal. I mean, he's huge. I mean, you already knew this. He is brutal. Even though he's old, you get to see him kind of struggle, but he fights through the struggle. And you're like, shit, that's tenacity right there. That's what it's like, you know? Any person who's done martial arts, as you get older, your knees start reacting, you know what I'm saying? I kickboxed for a long time, and I've been doing Jeet Kune Do for most of my life. And fucking one of my knees is not as good as it used to be. So the high jump kicks that we used to do when we were like 18 and 16 and whatnot, yeah, that shit's going out the window. Now you jump a little bit lower. Still can get the knees up to people's heads, but you got to jump a little bit lower, and you got to jump sparingly, because, you know, coming back down, if you come back down on that knee by accident or by, you know, means of necessity, you're fucked. Shit like that, you kind of see it. You know, Batman's climbing around, you see him struggle a little bit, you know, you little things that give away that he's not as young as he was when he started. But this Batman would never have gotten taken down by that bullshit Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. And you know what, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not even going to compare him anymore, because there is no comparison, you know? The only comparison is the fact that the title says Batman or The Dark Knight. Well, this is The Dark Knight. This is the real Dark Knight. You guys should check it out. If you love Batman, you're going to do it anyway, but I promise you, you will enjoy it. I'll be back with a full-on review when I finish watching the entire thing, but whew, I just came off watching Gurren Lagann, and that's like the most epic anime I've seen ever. And I was on a high from that. Now I'm watching this, and I'm on another high of a completely different type. And Warner Brothers Animation, you know, your DC animated universe is so on point. It's ridiculous. You've had like 2 duds in the history of your animated films. 2 of them. 2 that I completely say were just like meh, and all the rest of them were glorious. And this one is up there. So anyway, I'll be back, guys, all right? Peace outside.